It's great to be again with you, like all the Saturdays, having this community we have. Today, I would like to dedicate this class and the teachings that I'm going to be sharing with you to the nurses and doctors who are in the first line of trying to contain this pandemic. And who haven't been able to shelter at home from the beginning of the pandemic. Recently, this week, I had a call from a student of mine from the Berkeley Buddhist Monastery that was my student for Qigong several years ago. And she's a doctor, and she was saying, you remember that practice that we had that we sometimes send peace to other people? Would you please send some to us? We are overwhelmed. We thought that we were over the curve of the pandemic, and now again the number of people infected and people sick are rising, and we are trying our best to give all that we can, but often we don't have much left. And she was sharing with me how she feels helpless often, how sometimes there are moments of anger that come up in her or in other people in the team or whatever, and it's because of all these continuous stress they are bearing. And I suddenly started to think, and I thought, wow, we who are in the house, in shelter, we think it's so hard to be inside. And what about these people? They are day in and day out attending people with COVID, with the worry not only for their patients, but also for their own health and even for the health of their own families. And the continuous stress that is there. She shared, for example, about a nurse who died of a heart attack in an emergency room within the group that she's working with in San Francisco. And so I thought, well, we can do that. We can first experience it a little bit in ourselves and then share it with them, this sense of some relief to their pain and their stress. Also, I want to teach some short techniques, maybe 5 minutes, 10 minutes at the most, for replenishing oneself or for working with these overwhelming emotions, so that then I can send it to her and she can practice along, or send it to her colleagues or patients or whoever is open to practice this kind of thing. So today we're going to have several short techniques that are very powerful and useful. Let's practice together. The first one is a technique that we have already practiced before, but I want us to review it again, and because it's so powerful for when one is feeling overwhelmed or frustrated, irritated, and filled with negative emotions. And of course, we don't want to repress them or ignore them. We want to be present with them, know that it's part of this process and journey of experiencing the difficulties of this situation and the stress, natural stress that happens. But we also don't want to be overrun by those emotions. So how to, at the same time, be present with them and calm ourselves down. And for that, it's very useful that we have 5 points in the back of our head, which I call the Pentagon of Peace, because it's like our first defense against all this that is robbing us of peace. And these are 5 points that come from traditional Chinese medicine, and they form like the shape of a pentagon. So like if it was a little roof with a top there, and then these 2 lines, and then 2 other lines, like if a child is drawing a house, so that kind of pentagon, 2 and 2 and 1 lines that form like a little house. The 5 points, one is if you follow your spine and go following the spine up to the line of the skull, right there where the spine finally meets the skull. If you put your head just a little bit back, that's comfortable for you, you can sense that there is an indentation there. And what we are going to do, I'm first demonstrating looking at you, we interlace our hands and then we use our thumbs, one on top of the other at that point. And it's not about how hard we press, but how present can we be with the touch there. We're going to have a few deep breaths there. That point is called wind mansion. I love the names that the Chinese have found for these acupuncture and acupressure points. It's like the wind of your thoughts and your emotions, everything come to the place where it finally can settle down, wind mansion. And the two other ones that go along the skull, and then you find two indentations. Also, if you put your head back, you can notice it's more or less like two thumbs away from the spine to each side along the line of the skull. These are called gates of consciousness, gallbladder 20, gates of consciousness. And again, they are very powerful points to calm ourselves down. If you don't have time for the 5 points that we're going to do, the wind mansion, 2 gates of consciousness, and 2 pillars of heaven that I'm going to show you now, then just do gates of consciousness. And if you only have 3 minutes and you want to take a quick break, do gates of consciousness. Of course, you can also do them for much longer if you have more time. And then the third group, we had the wind mansion there, the gates of consciousness here. And then along the ropey muscles of the neck, half the way between the edge of the skull and the line of the shoulders, there are these 2 other points that are called pillars of heaven. Urinary bladder 10 points. And those points we can press with this part of our hand and the tips of the fingers, and we're going to be doing this motion. So first I wanted to explain it to you, looking at you, and now I'm going to turn around and show you from the back, and I keep guiding you, okay? If you already know them, and if you like to do it laying in your sofa or in your bed, that's also possible. I always do them in the morning before I come out of bed, and at night before I close my eyes, but when I'm already in bed. And so the weight of the head helps you to also kind of concentrate in those points and breathe. But you can do it also sitting, which would be more something like this, or I'm going to now be giving you the back to show you the points, but to show you that also it can be done sitting in anywhere that you can find around there, at the hospital or wherever you are. So we interlace the fingers and we bring the thumbs to wind mansion that we find by following the spine and coming to the edge of the skull, and then the point here where the spine meets the edge of the skull. There is an indentation there. We're going to put our thumbs together, fingers interlace, and just kind of bringing the attention and intention to our breathing and to this point. And the breathing, you do slow inhaling, like sighing, and also slow exhale, allowing the exhalation to be a little bit longer than the inhalation, but without forcing. When the time comes to inhale again, inhaling softly, gently, deeply, allowing the air to go down in your body. And exhaling, letting go of tensions. If you notice that while you are breathing, your breath is mainly here, it's a little bit of a more anxious breathing. So you want the breath to be able to go a little bit further down. And for that, we can put our hands just for a moment by the side of our ribs, and then just inhale, and imagine that in the moment of inhaling, as you do these slow, deep inhales, the breath goes further down. So it goes further down to where the lungs have more space to also breathe. And we have the intercostal muscles here. We just put the hands there by the ribs, and as we inhale, imagine that the air goes all the way down and that it pushes against our hands. For example, we have the hands like this, that the air that we take pushes against the back, against our thumbs. And if for whatever reason you cannot have this position, you cannot reach this because of problems in your shoulders or whatever, just imagine that you're having one of your hands or two of your hands by the side of your ribs, and that as you inhale, the air goes down. So you are inhaling and having the intention, kind of visualizing the air going down, going to your ribs. And exhaling, letting go of tensions. And if you have a sofa or bed, again, try tonight before you go to sleep. You see, sometimes I fall asleep with my hands there. It just is so relaxing. So those were the, what did we do just now? The wind mansion and gains of consciousness. And then the third ones are the pillars of heaven. And we find these points. So here is the line of the skull. This is the line of the shoulders, kind of half the way between the two of them. There are some points here along these ropey muscles of the neck. We can reach them with our middle fingers just to sense a little bit what's there. And we can breathe with our fingers there, or even better, if we can use this part and this part, we can just kind of squeeze there. Squeeze as you exhale. Inhale. Exhale the air out and the tensions out. Inhale something replenishing, new, white light, invigorating you, cleansing you from everything that's burdening you. Giving you some sense of calm and inner strength. We inhale calm and inner strength. We exhale what's worrying us, overwhelming us. Think of that in whatever measure we can. So often it's layers and layers that we shed, but the first step is us realizing that we are going through this situation and through these feelings, and having great compassion towards ourselves and towards others around us with whom we are relating. We work on lessening that burden in ourselves for our own health and also to be more available to others. So those are the 5 points. I highly recommend them to you. They are really powerful, and you can practice them anytime, you know, in the morning, in the evening, anytime during the day, anytime you have a break. It will help you to start having a greater sense of inner space, of calm, of inner strength. Feel free to come back to them as often as you want or can. Feel free also to share it with other people if you like. They don't have contraindications. I would do it from 1 to 3 minutes, but if you have more time, 5 minutes, 15 minutes, however long you want, that's okay. In general, most energy practice with acupressure, we do from 1 to 3 minutes. If you are in the middle of something that's really overwhelming you and you need to use it, and just you, let's say, do this practice for 5-10 minutes any time of the day, it's okay. Okay, so that's the first one. Simple, 5 points at the neck. We always have it handy. We don't need any particular equipment, just ourselves and our attention and intention, and going to these points. And as the masters, we are the masters of our inner space, bringing ourselves to calm down and being supported by these points, which are more than 2,500 years of wisdom and empirical science from acupressure and acupuncture. The connections, the energetic connections of the that exists between the breathing, the emotions, and the release points. Another very simple practice, very quick, you can go to at any moment. And again, this is especially dedicated to nurses and doctors who are all the time under so much stress already since the pandemic, but also to other personnel in the hospitals, to people that are sick and are at the hospital perhaps, and they are also alone because cannot receive so many visitors or family or anyone because of fear of spreading the infection. And then so many other people that are really working for us, the people that pick up the food, the people that are doing the harvesting, often many Latino immigrants that are also working with very few resources and perhaps not the best conditions of living, and they are there every day, helping us to get the things, and the cashiers who are in the places, and they are all the time interacting with the people that come to buy and all that, and they are also in the front lines of being at risk. We are all resting on the shoulders of many other people, so we owe to them and to us to try to keep us healthy as we can. And that starts by first working with our emotions, with our fears, our anxiety. So another way of a very easy practice that you can do it in a few moments if you feel that you need to let go of what's breaking your heart, what's overwhelming you, robbing you of the inner energy to continue helping or doing whatever you need to do to help yourself and to help others, is to put your hand at the area of your heart. In Chinese medicine and all ancient cultures, it's understood that we have healing powers here in the center of our palms. We all have it. We just usually are not told about them, and we don't experience practicing them, but you immediately will know if you put your two hands in the area of your heart, just gently covering your heart, there is a coming back home. There is some kind of relief happening. And we are also bringing these hands to the area of the heart is here, then the lungs, of course, two major vital organs that influence the functioning of all the rest of the body, right? The breathing and the circulation. And how we feel affects the heart and affects the lungs. So, and there is also a point, if you go along your chest bone, the sternum, your breastbone, then you find an indentation more or less here. This is called Sea of Tranquility point, Conception Vessel 17 point. And that point and the area of the heart and the lungs is a very good point to then bring our hands there. Again, bringing our attention and intention to replenishing ourselves and to letting go of what's burdening us. So we inhale slowly, gently, and deeply, like sighing. And as we exhale through the nose or through the mouth, whatever is more comfortable for you, we let go of what's burdening us. So we inhale calm, inner strength, inner peace. And we let go of the anxiety, the worrying, the sadness. And again, as we inhale what we feel at this moment that we need so that it would nourish us. And as we exhale, we release, we let go of layers and layers of what's burdening us, knowing that at this moment we are replenishing ourselves. Finding something that gives us peace. a memory, an experience, someone, some place, just bringing ourselves to something that inside us gives us peace. So we are combining the hands at the area of the heart and the lungs, with inhaling slowly, gently, and deeply, like sighing. We can also exhale through the mouth if that's more calming for you. It's just feeling like if all that was congesting us and limiting us is just kind of raining out of our system and leaving us layers and layers of that. And then we have this space to inhale calmness, exhale what's wearing us. Coming back to the present moment and feeling supported by the bed, by the chair, by the earth, by our own intention of taking care of ourselves in whatever way we can. Without limiting ourselves, but mainly working with anxieties and fears and what's robbing us of our energy, which is totally natural. We are in the middle of very unusual circumstances and very traveling, very challenging. And so, but with great compassion for ourselves and others, that's another practice. And again, can be 2-3 minutes of bringing your hands to your chest and having these deep breathings and having this intention of letting go for the moment, or in whatever measure I can, of what's burdening me, and imagining what is that I need to replenish myself. Is it a few deep breaths? Is it maybe go walk around the block or go outside near a tree and lay on the tree and breathe? So a few minutes. These are practices that can be done in 3 minutes, 5 minutes, whatever time you have. So one were the 5 points in the neck. The other one was the Sea of Tranquility point, and this kind of loving ourselves, holding ourselves in all our limitations and our needs, and being present with ourselves to give some kind of support. Like if the older brother or older sister is there with the younger one and says, we can do it. We are tired, we are exhausted right now, but we can do it. We can push through this, pull through this, and we'll be able to come through. And this is going to pass right now. We are in the midst of it, but it will pass. And I'm not rosy or thinking that it will be easy or that it will be quick. It may take some time, but the commitment is here of working with ourselves and working together also as a community. Okay, so after you know about these two, which you can use anytime, and you can also teach to other people, even to children, doesn't have contraindication. When you feel very depleted, very without any strength, also because stress robs us of inner strength and sometimes even of will, to replenish ourselves, to get not only physical energy, but also emotional energy, spiritual energy. You can use the area where, according to the Chinese, we gather all the energy and store it there. And Sometimes we keep giving it out and feel like depleted, but let's come back to that area. It's the area of the kidneys. So we are going to be massaging our kidneys. The kidneys are more or less at the height of the waist. I'm going to turn around and show you where the kidneys are, and then we are going to massage. If it's comfortable for you with the hands like this, kind of massaging the kidneys. And if not, you can have the hands open and also massage, or you can tap a little bit. Okay, so the idea is to stimulate the kidneys, and if there is any congested energy, and for sure there must be some, because kidneys are very affected by fear. And right now we are experiencing many different forms of fear. So that depletes us. So to fortify our kidneys, to let go of our fears, and also to experience a sense of more energy, we are going to be tapping in our kidneys or massaging our kidneys. Again, another practice that can be done in 2-3 minutes while you see patients, or while you are taking a break from taking care of somebody else who's sick or whatever, or you are going around your own day and you are blessed, like many of us are, to be at home, and in any case feel you would like some replenishing instead of coffee, you can do kidneys. Okay. So this is my waist, and the kidneys will be here, both sides of the spine, and I'm going to be massaging the kidneys. And at the same time, I'm going to be telling myself this is a time to shed some of the fears, let go of all that. I will take care of things moment to moment as they come up. I don't need to carry the past or the future and the fears. We just massage our kidneys and drop our fears. Drop any congestion there. If working like this is not so comfortable for you, you can also use your palms. And you can also tap gently to stimulate the area of the kidneys. Okay, and now that we have loosened up whatever congestion could be there, we are going to brush along and down from here, down and along the front of the abdomen, and from the waist down. We are going to brush along the legs. Now I'm just showing the legs, but you're going to be standing, right? So along the thighs and along the calves and the foot, and leading out from the feet. That's the way that it's done with Chinese healers and all that. They move whatever congestion is there, accompanied with some kind of brushing along the legs and out through the feet. So I'm sitting, but if you are standing, you just kind of go along and out there, and along and out there. Just wanted to show you, practice with you another practice that it really gives you a sense of circulation, of letting go of stagnation. You do it along the legs, and you also do it from the shoulder and along the arms and out through the hands. And the same along the shoulders, along the arms, and out from the hands. And it's a good way to stimulate circulation of blood and qi. Qi is vital energy, prana. So it's a good way to decongest and to have a sense of, okay, I'm ready to let go of things, and I'm just, getting them out of me. it's bringing attention and intention and a gesture that goes along with it, and then letting go. And if you just sit for a moment with the hands hanging, arms and hands hanging at your sides, and your feet extended, not crossed, as you sit in the chair or the sofa or wherever you are, you'll notice, how much more sense of circulation and aliveness there is in your legs and arms at this point, and sense of warmth. And so yeah, it's another way of breaking with this sense of stagnation, of feeling limited, of feeling congested, of being stuck in a repetitive thought, a repetitive emotion that seems to just kind of keep fueling itself and robbing ourselves of energy. So it's a good way to interrupt. Take a few deep breaths. Often, naturally, we do that, right? So when we are doing this sort of inhalation and exhalation, with the exhalations through barely parted lips, it's a long exhalation. The long exhalation triggers the parasympathetic nervous system, which is the system that helps us to relax. The parasympathetic nervous system has the function of relaxing, repair, and growth. So it's very good for healing, for self-healing. While the emotions that make us anxious, then they trigger the sympathetic nervous system, and that triggers a kind of breath that's much more shallow and is here. And it's one that is a sign of anxiety, and also it feeds and fuels anxiety. So when we go, or we feel we can't breathe, we are just up here, that's triggering of the sympathetic nervous system, or it has been triggered by it, and now the kind of breath it triggers even more anxiety. For that, you must have heard it, I imagine, hundreds of times. Take a pause, take a few deep breaths. If necessary, bring your hands to your ribs or a little bit further down, so that you are training your attention and intention and your breath to go where your hands are. And then have a long exhalation through the nose or through the mouth, whatever is more comfortable for you. Allowing the exhalation to be completed without forcing. Maybe there is a natural pause, and then there is, because there is all this vacuum, there is air that's coming in. And you can accompany it with a little bit of inhalation if you like, but like sighing, which means you are softening, you are taking it deep, but also you are taking it soft. And then a longer exhalation. And as you exhale, you can imagine that whatever was stuck and wearing you and giving you some sense of burden is all kind of raining along your body and coming out of you into the floor, into the earth. And Mother Earth accepts that you are shedding through your arms, through your feet, through your visualization, and it composts, like everything that it receives, it composts for further growth. So you can shed it, know that you're not harming Mother Earth, you're just kind of letting go of whatever is limiting you as a being, so that you can be more available for yourself and for others. So that's another practice, the kidneys and the brushing along the legs and the brushing along the arms and hands. And another practice is the inhaling through the nose, exhaling through the mouth, slow, long exhalation. In my YouTube channel, The New Paradigms, there is a whole video dedicated to letting go of the old, taking in the new, letting go of where you are stuck. But today I just want to give us few practices that we can practice at any moment, and especially dedicated to the doctors and nurses who are feeling overwhelmed, exhausted, and who are really doing so much for all of us, that not only clapping for what you are doing or putting signs saying thank you, but now we're going to be sending you also our appreciation through sending some love and hope and wishes of peace to you. So now we're going to have our meditation, which some of you have done with me before, another variation of this meditation. It's usually called the loving kindness meditation, and I do it often. And last night when I was doing it and thinking about this call that I received from this student of mine who's a doctor, who was telling me how overwhelmed she feels and how much in need of whatever assistance we can send from here, even if it is in the form of good wishes or this sending of peace. I thought we can do it also as an adaptation of the loving kindness. I mean, we can do it in whatever form, whenever we remember just what we are experiencing, a moment of peace, go into that moment of peace, and then think of someone who might be needing it at this time, who's touched by the pandemic, and sending at that moment, without any other kind of guided meditation or anything, sending them a wish for good being, and sending the experience. You are feeling the good experience, and you are sending them that you're experiencing energetically, you are sharing it with them. And when you imagine them receiving it, it multiplies, so you don't lose it. It's not like, oh my gosh, I was in one of the few moments of good experience and you're asking me to give it away. No, I'm saying that because we are social beings, and because we have mirror neurons, which are part of our brain, which means that when we see somebody else in a good experience, we experience it ourselves. This time we are going to experience it ourselves, and we are going to send it to them and see them receiving it. And then that, again, is one of the forms, the deepest forms of happiness. It's called altruism, when you also take care of other people. But it doesn't rob you of anything. The beauty of it is that it multiplies, because your mirror neurons, when you visualize the person who's needing this help, and you're visualizing her, for example, in this case, my student, receiving a moment of peace and perhaps being able to shed some of her burden, as I see her receiving it, there is a great chance that she might feel some less burden at that time. And also by seeing her receiving it, I'm also experiencing it. So don't worry, you're not going to be losing anything. In fact, it multiplies, but it multiplies by embracing somebody else, because we are totally interconnected. We know it. Sometimes when, for whatever reason, we have been too much in a rush or in a bad space or whatever, and we see someone suffering, we don't do anything about it. We just kind of ignore it and go with our own day or whatever. Something within us feels depleted, feels impoverished. So we are, within our limitations of being sheltered at home, still in a very good position compared to what's going on in the hospitals and in the harvest fields and in the houses of cashiers and so many other people that come home afraid of maybe being sick and maybe bringing sickness to their homes, and so many people. So we owe it to them, and we are going to send to them this, which is a kind of wealth, a kind of taking care. And it's also part of this transformation that we are experiencing with the pandemic. The pandemic, more than ever, is showing us how precious life is, how easily it can be lost, and also how many people are totally suffering, and that we are all interconnected. Unless they also come to rest and come to regain strength, for example, the doctors and nurses, and also the poor people that are, or medium people, whoever is helping us, we are all resting on each other. So the ones that are a little bit further above the water, we need to send this goodwill and caring and taking care in a energetic way of the other people. So I invite you now to do this meditation with me, experience this meditation with me. If you can sit with the spine straight, the body relaxed, maybe close your eyes or lower your eyes so that you can easily go in. And having just 2 or 3 breaths to coming back to your inner space, sense of your body, your mind. And we are going to remember these invocations that come from thousands and thousands of years of practicing compassion. So let's think of someone who has helped us along our life, somebody we love in an uncomplicated way, and thinking of how they might be doing at this moment with the pandemic and the fears that they may have for themselves, for their families, and wish them, may you be filled with loving kindness. And for this loving kindness is also compassion towards themselves. If sometimes they feel they haven't been able to give all that they want to give because they themselves are feeling needs or feeling anxious, that they may embrace themselves with compassion and understand that we are going through a very special time that is asking us to connect with our inner resources. And so you are sending them this sense of peace, of understanding, of appreciation, so that they can feel that within themselves, for themselves. May you be filled with loving kindness, the loving kindness that you are sending to them, and that you also give to yourself. And imagine them receiving this loving kindness. And then we are going to, the second invocation is, may you be well in body and mind. And that they may, at this moment, wherever they are, receive this sense of being well in body and mind, no matter what difficulties they may be going, and even perhaps physical challenges. May you be well in body and mind. May you not be afraid. May you feel protected and cared for. May you be well in body and mind. May you be safe from inner and outer dangers. And the dangers, sometimes the inner dangers are this fear, this anxiety, these bouts of angerness, of helplessness. So may you be safe from all that. May you experience peace. May you be safe from inner and outer dangers. May you be able to take care of yourself also externally and rest. May you be safe from inner and outer dangers. May you be protected and not get infected with COVID. And the last one traditionally has been about, may you be happy, truly happy and free. And in this case, we are going to modify it to another form of happiness, which is peace. So may you experience calmness. May you experience calm or calmness. May you experience inner strength. May you experience inner peace. And imagine the person receiving it right now. Among all the other external things that may be happening, imagine the person receiving some sense of calm, inner strength, and inner peace. And now we are going to bring this to our own selves. So, and then we are going to continue some more. But first, we start now with ourselves. May I be filled with loving kindness. May I have compassion for myself in my shortcomings and in my fears, in my difficulties. May I have appreciation for myself for doing what I can. And that's the loving kindness. May I love myself as I am. And know that deeply my deep essence is consciousness. It's learning, it's understanding. May I love myself at all these different levels. May I be filled with loving kindness. The next one is, may I be well in body and mind. And again, feeling a sense of relief, sense of peace at the level of emotions, at the level of our thoughts. May I be well in body and mind. And when the mind is calm, the body feels better. The same as when the body is relaxed, the mind feels more calm. May I be well in body and mind. May I be safe from inner and outer dangers. May I be able to work with what's coming up as a result of this continuous stress from the pandemic. May I be safe from inner and outer dangers. May I be able to take care of myself. May I be safe from inner and outer dangers. And then the fourth invocation, may I experience calm, inner strength, and inner peace. And sometimes we have to repeat that several times so that it sinks in. May I experience calm, inner strength, and inner peace. May I experience calm, may I experience calm, inner strength, and inner peace. And imagining ourselves filled with that calm, that inner strength, and inner peace. At this moment, as we practice together with all our friends that come together on these Saturdays, feeling the support of the others that are part of this community too, may I experience calm, inner strength, and inner peace. And now we are going to bring to our mind a doctor or a nurse that we know, maybe someone that we had seen before the pandemic as our doctors or nurses, or maybe someone in our circle of friends that we know is a doctor or a nurse, and bring this person to our attention, to our heart, and bring these blessings to them, this whiff of peace. As we experience the peace in ourselves, now we are sharing it and we are imagining, visualizing the person receiving it. So it's better when you can think of a particular person because it becomes a more focused practice. You can also think of all the doctors in our city or in our state or in our nation or in the world, and that's another possibility. But if you can actually direct it to a human being that you know, then it's a good practice until you develop a bigger muscle of really being able to send it to everyone in a very alive and focused way. So for now, let's think of a nurse or a doctor that we know, bringing them into our attention. Maybe you can even name them if you know their name. And let's wish her or him, may you be filled with loving kindness. Wherever you are at this moment, may you receive a sense of your burden being lifted, of loving yourself and appreciating what you do and knowing that you do what you can, the best you can, and that sometimes you might feel overwhelmed or helpless, but that you are helping and that we are sending you this love. Bringing this person to mind and imagine how it would be for her or him to be filled with a sense of loving kindness from himself to himself, and also of somebody else who's caring at this time and is supporting them in their burden. And imagine that their burden is lifted. It's like sending them a hug, virtual hug, and caring for them. The second invocation is, may you be well in body and mind. May you find moments of rest. May you be able to shed some of the anxiety and anger, sadness. May you actually feel well in body and mind. Imagining the person receiving it, visualizing her receiving it, her or him. May you be safe from inner and outer dangers. May you know that you're not alone, that we are caring for you. May you find your own support to overcome your fears and sadness and anger. May you be safe from inner and outer dangers. May you also be protected. May the people who are around you be conscious of how to protect you. May they offer you support as you also support your colleagues. May you be safe from inner and outer dangers. And the last invocation, may you experience calm, inner strength, and peace. Visualizing her or him receiving it. May you experience calm, inner strength, and peace. One more time. May you, and you name the person, receive this calm, inner strength, and peace. And now we are going to bring one more person to our attention. Maybe someone that we see as we go around shopping or that we see them working in what they need to do every day to support all the rest of us. So we keep opening our heart, which is so needed right now. And we look at the person not only in their function they fulfill for us, but as human beings like us who also want to be healthy, safe, having a safe environment when they go back home, having their family to be healthy. So let's just think of a person, you probably don't know their name, but you have seen them when you go shopping or in one of these other spaces that you go to fulfill the needs that you have to continue eating and supporting yourself. Right now, we open our hands, our hearts, we offer to them, visualize them as people, as us, with the same needs, the same fears, the same longings. So let's visualize one of these persons. May you be filled with loving kindness, and wherever they are, probably working right now, feeling an extra sense of dignity, of peace, of relief, even for a moment, of feeling compassion for themselves and feeling that someone else is also sending loving kindness to them. Imagining the person receiving it and feeling his or her burden lifted. May you be filled with loving kindness. May you be well in body and mind. Their tiredness lifted, their concerns. May you be safe from inner and outer dangers. Imagining the person receiving this blessing. May you be safe from inner and outer dangers. And finally, something that we all long for, and they for sure too. May you experience calm, inner strength, and peace. May you experience calm, inner strength, and peace. May your worries be lifted. May you experience new hope. May you feel appreciated and seen as a human being. May you experience calm, inner strength, and peace. And may we all support you. We send this caring for these people that are doing so much for all of us and who are taking so many more risks than us and are going through also much more stress. And the last one, pick a person that you know that for some reason has been affected by the pandemic. Maybe someone who had a pre-existing condition is afraid to get sick, or maybe someone who lost a loved one with the pandemic, or who has the loved one sick and they are taking care of them at home, or maybe children or youth who are afraid because they sense the fear that is in their family, in their parents. So, or someone who's going through economic struggles. having lost their jobs and the company where they work, restaurants, hotels, whatever, has closed. So for sure, you know someone who at this moment uh, is more impacted than others others that you know for the pandemic. And so this just for a moment bring this person to our mind. And if you know their name, also as you say the blessing, say the blessing. May you be filled with loving kindness. If you have a pre-existing condition, for example, and you're afraid, may your fears be at peace. May you be able to take care and appreciate yourself and the caring you're taking not to get sick, and also feel this love that in this moment each one of us is sending to someone. May you be filled with loving kindness. And I know sometimes we have several people. You can either think of two at a time or just one for now, and then later on do somebody else, whatever is easier for you. May you be filled with loving kindness. May you be well in body and mind. Again, feeling that burden lifted, those fears. The situation is the same, but the inner space is more spaciousness, more spacious. May you be well in body and mind. May you be safe from inner and outer dangers. Imagining the person receiving this and being able to go through her day or his day with more calm, more hope. May you be safe from inner and outer dangers. May you experience calm, inner strength, and peace. Imagining the person receiving these feelings. May you experience calm, inner strength, and peace. May you experience calm, inner strength, and peace. And we could keep bringing other people in the meditation, but for time's sake, we can finish it here, or we can finish bringing it again to ourselves, and one more time, wishing ourselves, may I be filled with loving kindness for myself and for others. And finding some more spaciousness within yourself by being filled with loving kindness. May I be well in body and mind. And know that that's a longing of everyone. May I be well in body and mind, so that I can also serve others. You may say, wait, let me take a little bit more time to get well in body and mind. And that's okay. You know, you first take whatever time you need to get well in body and mind. The only thing I'm saying is that it doesn't end there. Eventually, it's also to be shared with others. May I be well in body and mind. May I be safe from inner and outer dangers. One of the dangers is closing ourselves up, trying to protect ourselves. May I be safe from inner and outer dangers. Experiencing that. The burden gone, partially at least. May I be safe from inner and outer dangers. And the last one, may I experience calm, inner strength, and peace. May I experience calm, inner strength, and peace. May I experience calm, inner strength, and peace. So this is something that's a practice, millenary practice, that gives a lot of sense of grounding and at the same time of opening. And you can do whichever part. I mean, you can do all these different parts of people closer to your life and further away, or you can just do it at one moment, as I was saying before, for someone who you feel that this moment could experience, needs to experience their burden lifted. And if you could do a little bit every day, it would be great. Not only for others, but also for you, because we are social beings in the sense that we have these mirror neurons, like I was saying today, and we don't exist as isolated units. We exist in relationship. So this pandemic is giving us an extraordinary opportunity to keep learning and reflecting and developing that part of ourselves that when we were very busy and always going somewhere or whatever, we didn't have time to look at some of these possibilities and the inner resources we have. And of course, we want to practice this, whether there is going to be a vaccine in a year or whenever. It's not about, oh, okay, at one point we will get the key to get out of this situation. No, I mean, this is an extraordinary opportunity to develop your inner resources, to really get just to know yourself and get to know yourself also in relation to others. And also for us to rethink our communities and what is needed structurally, and in whatever measure we can also participate in that. The vaccine, it's not going to solve many of the things that were wrong before the pandemic and that are still wrong now, and that go way beyond whether there is a vaccine or not a vaccine. So let's work with ourselves, because it's the only thing and the best thing we can do from now to the end for the rest of our lives, right? Because we want to value this precious life we have, and whenever the last time comes, the last day, arrive in peace. So all that is a work that you do from moment to moment to moment to moment. It doesn't depend on external things. The external things, like the coronavirus, gives you a stimulus for you to work on how to respond to it, and whether it becomes an opportunity for growing or it becomes an opportunity to get frozen and more afraid and more close up. The more you have a fear and identify with the fear and you close up, it's like you get more less resourceful. you get more vulnerable in a way, vulnerable in the wrong way, in the sense of hardening, trying to not flow with anything of what's happening, just trying to create another wall around you. That's impossible. So the only possibility is to flow. Let's do some movement, and then we'll have a little conversation. This movement comes from yoga. I learned it in India when I was there for a whole year and training in a school that trained yoga teachers to teach yoga in India. And some of the practices I learned there, I haven't seen in other places here in the West. It's a very simple practice, and it involves slow movement, and it's just called 3-2-1, in the sense that you do 3 movements in repeated 3 identical movements, 2 other identical movements between themselves, and the last one just one. And as the hands go up, there is a sense of opening and expanding, and every time the hands come down, the arms come down, there is relaxing of the shoulders, of the neck, of the muscles of the back, and also the pressure comes down, the high blood pressure comes down, and it's a moment of relinquishing any worries. So it's very effective, and again, it's dedicated to doctors and nurses. It takes a few minutes. We can all do it. Any of us can do it with very good results also, and it just doesn't have contraindications. You can teach it to children if you like, or whoever is going through anxiety. With the lifting of the arms and then lowering of the arms is going to help them also calm down and feel more grounded and open. Okay, let's do it. So we start with the feet shoulder width apart, body straight and relaxed, like if the head is a sphere, perfectly resting on top of the sphere of the chest, and both of them resting on the sphere of the abdomen, and that resting on the hips, and the hips being supported by the legs, which are resting and being supported by the floor. To feel more the contact with the floor, let's just, like if we were a bamboo rocking in a breeze, go a little bit to the front and the back, very minimal movement, just sensing how as the weight of your body comes a little bit more forward or backward, you can sense it in the soles of your feet. And let's also now raise our toes while the rest of the feet is in contact with the floor, and then spread the toes and grab the floor with the toes if that's comfortable for you, just to feel a little bit more awareness of the feet, because part of the support, the roots come from there, from the legs, and especially from the contact of the feet on the floor. So this is a good thing for feeling grounded. Another part from where we are going to feel grounded is the area of the abdomen, especially just 2-3 finger breath down from the navel. There's a point called Sea of Energy, and that's part of a vortex of energy that's here at the level of the navel. All other cultures have recognized it. Japanese talk about the hara there. The Chinese call it lower dantian, lower field of the elixir. It coincides more or less within the Indian tradition where Manipura chakra is. So it's a big center of balance, of equilibrium, of feeling grounded. So let's just for a moment have our hands one on top of the other, right on top of left, and just feeling a little bit the grounding there. And knowing now that as we move, although there is movement in the hands and arms, etc., there is always this sense of grounding through the soles of the feet and also through the center of our abdomen, our hara area here. Okay, so the hands and arms are going to be relaxing at the sides of the body, and the first 3 movements, which are identical to each other, are like this. The hands are coming up, floating, like if they are resting on top of a big balloon of chi, of vital energy, prana. And they are coming slowly up as the arms move slowly up, resting. You can feel the connections between muscles and bones, and then we look up and then we look forward as the hands and arms come down, relaxing the shoulders, the neck, the face, all the different layers of muscles in the back. And we do 2 more of this at your own pace, always very relaxed and rather slow, like if the hands and arms are resting on top of a big balloon of chi, vital energy. And then as we open up, we look up, and eventually the hands start coming to the side, and we are looking forward, feeling this balance through the soles of the feet and the abdomen, and relaxing the shoulders, the face, the neck, all the different layers of muscles in the back. One more time at your own pace. Like a flower unfolding. And relaxing the shoulders, the neck, the face, and the back. So we did 3. Now we are going to do 2 that are more like a rhombo shape, diamond shape. The points of the fingers are touching in this vortex, and then they are going to open to the side. Also very relaxed. Imagine that there is a lot of space between the cells of your arms. They are double the lengths that they usually are, like if they were laser beams. At the level of the atoms, we are 99.999 space. So imagine that that space is growing and that there is all this spaciousness. You're looking up, the hands are touching, the tips of the fingers are touching, and then you're looking forward, and the hands are very slowly, hands and arms very slowly opening, with the chest open, and relinquishing the weight of your hands and arms. As the hands and arms come down, you will notice that if you move slowly, there is a much greater feeling of relaxation. So one more time, second one at your own pace. With this sense of spaciousness, space moving through space. Then looking forward and relinquishing any tensions in the shoulders, in the neck, the face, and the different layers of muscles in the back. And now the third one, the hands are by the side, hands and arms, and they are going to come up like along a column of energy, the inner arm radiating warmth to the other inner arm. And again, we are moving slowly up, like stretching, like if we were coming out of sleep, stretching up. The knees are slightly flexed, like if you are sitting on top of a tall stool, and the arms are going up. So it's almost like if the weight of the body is coming down, but the hands and arms are going up. I call this hanging from the galaxies. A lot of space. And then looking forward, and again, relaxing the shoulders, the neck, the face, and bringing the hands down. So that's 3, 2, 1. We are going to do it one more time at your own pace so that you know how to do it. First, start with the body straight and relaxed, the head perfectly balanced on top of the chest, both of them on top of the abdomen, back resting on the legs. And then when we begin, the arms are going to float up in a way that's relaxing and pleasant to you. Looking up, and then looking forward, lowering the arms, relaxing. like a flower unfolding, like if you wouldn't know what comes in the next inch of a space. Relaxing and grounding yourself. And one more. And the hands meet in the vortex and they open to the side. Lots of space. If for whatever reason you cannot bring your two arms up, just imagine that they are coming up and meeting at the top. And then feel the relaxation of your shoulders, your neck, your face as they come down. I think we did one, and this would be the second one. Again, I lose count when I do this. Relinquishing your worries, your concerns, feeling grounded and safe. The last one, hands facing to each other, arms front of the body go up, hanging from the galaxies. Extension without tension. The arms are going up, the rest of the body is hanging down. And then eventually we look forward and slowly lower the arms, relaxing the shoulders and the face. Feet together, hands together. We count our blessings. We remember a blessing that makes us feel particularly grateful and nourished. And then we lower our hands to the Sea of Tranquility point to center ourselves. And we again send a wave of peace to someone who at this moment is needing it. And imagine the person receiving it. And we send peace and share peace with all of us who were practicing today together. And with all the people in the world who at this time are looking for hope and some solution to their problems. Because we are all interconnected. We send peace to everyone. And now we'll have to go over there because my computer is running out of battery. So I don't know if you have any questions or comments. Aren't they lovely? It's like our emotions. On the one hand, they are fierce, but once we embrace them, there is a certain strength and caring in them too. They are moving us to pay attention to processes. And if we don't get scared, if we can work with them, we might end with more strength and understanding and compassion for ourselves and others. If you want to share your thoughts, I think now you should be able to open your mic. So if you are not talking, have your mic closed so that there is no other noises coming from where you are. Is any of you wanting to talk? Audrey, for example, do you want to talk?
I just enjoyed it. It was really very helpful, really helped me calm down and calm my anxiety.
Great, great. Your first time with us, I think, right?
Yeah,
Good.
thank you.
Well, I hope that maybe some of this is something that you will remember and can practice during the week. Eventually, this is also going to be in YouTube.
Oh, I just wanted to thank you. It's it is overwhelming what's going on in so many different aspects of our culture right now, on top of the pandemic and everything. That I I'm a pretty sensitive person, and if I pay attention to everything going on, it is emotionally overwhelming because there's so many people suffering and so much. It's just so sad and frustrating and everything. So these practices really help me not only to stop turning away, which I spend time doing because I can't handle it. um, but it's important to not do that all the time. So this is a good space to tune back in and pay attention. When you do that, it's important to me, when you remind us of other people who are what they're going through and that they need support. And and I'm very glad that you did taught us these shorter things too. I'm glad you're going to share that with the medical community. And it's good for me to have shorter practices to do as well, sort of on the fly in life. So I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much. I think to comment a little bit on what you said and something that I should be teaching too, but I haven't yet started doing. I also do a lot of prayer within the Indian tradition and the Sanskrit tradition and the mudras, and but even if we don't are not doing the mudras together, these gestures of the hands and the prayers, where one puts the bigger processes that are just so overwhelming into a bigger order, this trust. That's the other component that maybe I need to address a little bit more another time. It trust that nothing happens just because of it. That's not a stupid game of cruelty and nonsense, that we are just in the midst of it and that there is no sense whatsoever. I have a deep trust, and also through science and through observation of how life had progressed since the beginning of the universe. I mean, there were so many times where if the things would have been a little bit faster coming together or a little bit faster going out, it would have totally dissipated. And it always has organized itself so that more life, more complexity, more understanding can happen. The processes are sometimes hard, and I think we were needing some kind of big awakening, and unfortunately, it has happened. It's coming in this form, but otherwise, we were not. We were totally oblivious to many things that really don't make any sense and that are causing suffering even before the pandemic. So if one can trust now, when one sees, oh my God, how is this possible? You mean all that was there, all that corruption, all that cruelty, all that stupidity, all that waste, all that. And you say, okay, yes, it's all going on, and it's especially visible now. It's really in the forefront of our attention. And if you go, okay, but this is part of a bigger process of awakening, and just leave it at that. Don't bombard yourself with lots of news, because it's difficult to digest all that and assimilate. And in any case, you cannot change anything. You can change more by sending this love to the nurses and the doctors and all that, but by that reading the news and feeling overwhelmed and paralyzed and even more sick yourself. So I think we need to be aware of what's going on and what's still, the number of deaths are rising in California and in other states and also in other countries. And all the structure is crumbling, but we've seen all that, just hope that, okay, this is part of a process of bigger learning, and something good is going to come out at the end of all this, even if right now I cannot see how it's going to happen. But just trust that, and also trust that at the personal level. Just say, okay, I'm going through now even more pain, or my sensitivity is flaring up, I'm having more problems with my immune system, with whatever. But okay, each one of these is an opportunity to get to know myself better and start finding these release points, these kinds of breath that help, these kinds of working with my mind, of relating to others. And so see everything as an opportunity to learn. And that's the secret of resilience. Resilience is when we keep learning during or after a trauma. So a trauma can paralyze us and overwhelms us and rob us of any strength or will. Or a trauma can be, a shock that's happening, and then from that you develop a new desire to learn more. In this case, more about yourself, more about the ways you relate to others. So if you can put that in the bigger context of this is part of a journey of awakening at a level, at a personal level, and at a society level. And we know that we needed it, and we needed to stop. We cannot go out shopping so much or working so much or whatever, but we then have the opportunity to observe a little bit more and learn and grow. For that reason, we came here. That's the contract we have, I think, to have been born as a human and not as a tree or whatever. The trees also have their own sensitivity, but we also have hands and legs and opportunity to communicate. And so we have a lot of opportunity to learn. And now we are given the time and the space to do it and enjoy it. So yeah, just put it in that other kind of frame, and I think it will be a little bit more bearable. Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much for coming and practicing together. I hope that some of these things are helpful and that you can practice during the week, whatever you remember, even if you adapt some of them. If you don't remember exactly what it was, the word or the movement, just listen to your heart and to your body and do it in your own adaptation. And the main thing is the intention and the attention. And then soon there will be also videos in the new paradigms, my YouTube channel, and you can then use them to follow along. In fact, I did put one yesterday night that's from one of our sessions before, and it was the one that had a lot of practices about healing our lungs and heart. And it also had a meditation on, was it on smiling? Yeah, the Taoist meditation of inner smile for the whole respiratory system. So if you want, you can just go to the New Paradigms, Amelia Barilli, and follow along. And then it will be like if I'm teaching you there at your home. And I also put two other videos about breathing with the mask and some yoga techniques that I taught you to, so that you can, with one of the techniques is to increase your capacity of breathing, your lung capacity. And the other one is about being able to breathe while you have the mask on and have a little bit more air to work with, because you'll be exhaling and then creating a vacuum and the air comes in. And it's a technique, both of them are from 2,500 years old. So thank you so much and see you next time.